Hello fellow human! Welcome back to another Dang Door / Choosing Beggar videos. Have you ever found something valuable on the street before? Like money, wallet, or phone? Do you return it to the original owner or just keep it? We have here the first story by Fried Tuna. Found lost cell phone on a busy street, unreasonable request for return follow. This just happened about 15 minutes ago in Philadelphia. I work remotely from home as an insurance adjuster. While on my lunch break, I go outside to walk my dog. When I get to the corner, I find a cell phone lying on the ground. I like to think that I'm a decent person, so I pick it up in the hopes of returning it. I discover the phone is locked, but decide that I will give an hour to see if someone calls, and if not, I'll leave it with the doorman at the building I live in and explain the situation to him. About 10 minutes after finishing up my dog's walk and returning to my apartment, the moment I was waiting for occurred. The phone rang. I answered excited that I would be able to make someone's day after the panic that sets in from losing one's phone. A Hispanic woman answers and I try telling her to come and pick it up from my address, but she has trouble understanding me. She then hands the phone to another woman who speaks English much better than I speak Spanish. She then asks if I can bring the phone to her and provides her address, stating it's in the ABC projects and that she'll be home all day. It was at this moment I had realized that I had a choosing beggar on my hands. I let her know that I have no issue with returning the phone, but I was not going to deliver it and inconvenience myself further. She then recommended I mail it to her. I repeated that I refused to make this as a hassle or chore for me, and that mailing would cost me money as well. And after that, I let her know that I'd be leaving it with the doorman and that she's more than welcome to come and grab it, and hung up. Now I'm kinda pissed. I didn't just leave it on the ground. Wow, those two women are just sad, man. If someone finds my phone, I'll thank them and go pick it up. We have here the second story written by u/. I'm so hungry, man. Tell my son that you're the reason why he can't have Christmas. My first job was over the phone debt collection from an energy company. It's Christmas is unfortunately a very common excuse. And a post I just read reminded me of a conversation I once had with a woman who had racked up over 10K worth of electricity bill over 5 years. She exhausted every hardship avenue she had with the company, broke every payment plan, and was a nightmare to deal with over the phone. I was about to have her disconnected for the millionth time, and every time we did, she calls the ombudsman and have it reconnected. This time, however, I organized a pole top disconnection, which take ages to have it reconnected. Again, she started brawling and screaming at me. She also mentioned that how it's not her fault that she didn't know heating her pole would use so much electricity because her husband used to take care of the bills before they split up. Not kidding! She was a giant butthole. Anyway, so she continued trying to argue with me, and I wouldn't budge. I wanted at least 30% of the final balance in order for her to keep her electricity on. Then, this happens.
CB, okay, fine. Well, you can speak to my 7-year-old son, and you tell him you're the reason why he can't have Christmas, because his mommy has to pay over 3K towards an old build instead of spending it on Christmas.
Me, well, I don't think that's as necessary.
CB's child, hello?
I was like, screw it. This wanker wants to use her kid and it's on her. Me, hello, my name is I'm So Hungry Man, calling from Reddit Energy. Your mother and I were just talking about Christmas and how important it is to have electricity during that time. Do you have Christmas tree? Kid proceeds to explain everything on the tree, including lights. Me, that sounds beautiful. And do you spend your Christmas holidays in your pool? Kid excitedly tells me about how they're going to have a pool party for New Year's Eve. Me, now that sounds awesome! Now, I do have some bad news. Unfortunately, your mommy has been naughty this year and Santa won't be able to visit your house unless she pays her electricity bill. Your mommy said that she was going to use the money to pay for Christmas for you. Do you think that this year you can skip the gift so that mommy and your brother and whoever else come over can enjoy the pool? Kid goes silent and, will Santa come back next year? Me, well, if your mom continues to be good, then yes.
Kid whispers, Mommy, that is okay. I don't want electricity off.
CB grabs the phone, signs and grunts as she's walking away from her sons.
CB, you ready?
Me, sorry?
CB, card number 1234 CBV 679 expiry 1412. I want to pay 5 grand on it today, and I don't want to hear from you duckheads again. You're the devil.
Me, do you want to settle the account for 5k? For your information, to settle an account is to pay a sum, cancel your service, and the rest can be written off if your upper management approves. She would have been able to settle her debt and start fresh with another company. She didn't notice and didn't let me explain it.
CB, what? No, put it towards my bill and don't call me for at least a year. Don't disconnect me. Goodbye.
So I processed the payment of 5k and left notes saying that she didn't want to settle. I got my manager to listen to the call and check my notes, and she said it's fine considering that I collected half of the owed amount after years of her not paying a cent. TLDR, lady makes me talk to offspring. I tell child no Christmas unless mommy pays bill. Child is surprisingly chill and says that he wants electricity to stay on. Mommy is angry. Mommy pays bill. Note that I'm Australian, so yes, Christmas is hot and people swim on Christmas Day. Next up, we have the third story shared by u/Hagen Lee. Aren't old enough to buy around, aren't old enough to have real drink. I just remembered this story, one of my all-time favorites. I was out at a bar with some friends, about 10 of us. I don't know if this is universal, but where I come from, we often do rounds of drinks in pubs. So, one person buys everyone a drink, then the next and the next, till everyone has bought drinks. Everyone is supposed to get a round in to pay back all the drinks you get. Obvious, right? I explain because I've met many people who have never heard of this concept. In fairness, it is problematic as allows for people to conveniently forget. Well, it happens. Sometimes people genuinely don't get their rounds in, and after all, not everyone wants 10 drinks. But you're allowed to opt out. But many people like to get their 9 drinks from everyone else to then head off. I don't know if these people think we don't notice, but these people get a name for themselves very quickly, of course, when they do it constantly. Anyway, back to the night out. One of the people there is well known to never buy a round. Ironically, he's well off and has a good job. I assume that he just thinks that people don't notice. He will drink all night, but will just wait till someone else pays for all their drinks. But because we're all nice people, we don't call them out on it. Annoys the hell out of me, which is why I just often refuse drinks from anyone else and take care of my own drinks a lot of time. One of my awesome friends started asking what everyone else wanted as he was ordering this round, mostly beers. First person to call out is Mr. Cheapskate, asking for a specific beer. Friend takes all the orders and heads to the bar. 10 minutes later, comes back with beers for everyone. But for Mr. Cheapskate, he gives him a pint of glass of blackcurrant juice. The kind they give out for 30 cents, diluted stuff with a crazy straw. He looks him straight in the eyes and says, "Not old enough to buy a round? Not old enough to have a real drink? Best night ever." Oh snap, that burns. OP's friends rocks. Moving on to the fourth story shared by u/Divine Miss M. Reverse choosing beggar. Me equals to me, ND equals to nice daughter, NCB, non-choosing beggar, GG, good girl, NCB's dogs. A few weeks ago, my daughter and I pulled up to a convenience store. Outside in the smoking area was a man who looked to be on hard times. He had a beautiful dog with him. I do not often give people money, but both my daughter and I love dogs. When we got out of the car, Gigi was wagging her tail at us. We both started sweet-talking her, and she was just going crazy, wagging her tail. ND, hi, is your dog friendly? Can we pet her? NCB, well, you can try. She doesn't take to strangers too well. Well, she took to both of us getting scratches and pets. ND to NCB, how are you? Do you need anything? This surprised me, as I was just about to ask him the same thing. Both ND and I have a soft spot for dogs. NCB, well, I'm okay, but if you could get my dog a can of dog food, I'd be grateful. This hits both of us in the heart. This man didn't ask for a thing for himself. He was more concerned with his dog. ND, okay, I can do that, no problem. What about you? Are you hungry? NCB, I could sure use a soda. He named his choice of a soft drink. ND, okay, I can do that too, no problem. We'll be right back. Both of us were so touched by his concern for his dog. Now, as I said, I do not normally give in to panhandlers, but for some reason, I felt a deep need to help this man. Andy goes up to the register with a small bag of dog food, a can of dog food with a pull tab, and a super large cup of his soft drink of choice. And I got my things and asked for 20 bucks cash back. And then I bought a gift card to that convenience store as they're all over this town for 20 bucks. We went back to NCB and handed him his good, and he was in shock. His dog thanked us appropriately with hand licks and more wags. All he could do was to say thank you. His eyes were filled with tears. Andy, you take care, sir, and take care of that dog. NCB, thank you so much, I will. This was a few weeks ago, and I still think about him and his sweet Gigi. I hope that they're able to get on their feet soon. This isn't a choosing beggar, but the story is sure wholesome. It shouldn't really be a surprise for you guys, but me too. I have a huge soft spot for dogs, literally any kind of doggos. Dank Doggo just loves doggos. The fifth story is shared by you/Ella age 97. Brother wants money, gets mad when he doesn't get it. I've just been accepted into Harvard Law, and I'm slowly preparing to pack up and move. Due to COVID, I lost my job. Every single dollar that I made while working since the age of 14 was being saved up for my college tuition, as Harvard is very pricey, and for my moving costs and apartment close to campus. I have a younger brother, he's 18 and has never worked a day in his life because he would just rather spend his days playing Xbox or whatever. He doesn't know what he wants to do in the future, and that's completely fine. I support him and understand that it's not easy deciding on a career path. Lately though, my brother has been asking my parents for money almost weekly. They gave him a couple of hundreds and he blew that on games. My father then refused to give him any more, and they both turned to me instead. My father says that since I'm receiving quote-unquote free money, the CERB for people who lost their jobs due to COVID-19, I should be able to give my brother a couple of $100 every month since I'm older, and I should take care of him. 90% of the money I make goes straight into a saving accounts for college, and the rest I use for necessities. I live in an apartment with 2 other friends, so I don't have to pay as much. I rarely ever buy anything I want for myself unless it's a special occasion like my birthday. I told my dad that I could give him a little bit, but as my roommates have also lost their job, we don't have as much income available to us. I've been giving my brother 100 bucks a month, but neither my brother nor my parents think it's good enough, that I should provide him with more money. And I explained that I wouldn't be able to give him any more than that because I still have to provide for myself. They absolutely lost it at that, called me ungrateful and a terrible sister. My mother and brother aren't speaking to me anymore, saying that I abandoned my brother at this difficult time, and they completely spun the truth to the rest of my family. Well, I do believe that family is important, but I think it's time to cut your brother off and teach him about life. What shocks me the most is that the entitled parents actually support this type of behavior, and they're condoning the younger brother blew out the money for games. Like what, Fortnite cosmetics? On to the 6th story shared by you/Hetson. You will give me my money back. Okay, so I'm an autistic kid and I love computers and servers, and I like building them, fixing them, everything. Occasionally I get computer parts or broken computers from friends. I look for really good deals on GPUs and motherboards plus CPU combos on Marketplace. And there's a computer company that before tossing out their old customer hardware, drive, SSDs not include, they call me so I can pick it up. I'm doing this so I can sell relatively cheap gaming computers to kids, and also try to make a buck for myself. So this kid contacted me because his friend had bought a computer for me and was really satisfied with his purchase. And he told me that he would like a computer for around like 500 euros. Only said that he was playing some ugly cheap Call of Duty clone. Sure thing, bud, I thought to myself. We're starting to look around for parts, and around a month later, I got hold into an Intel i5 and an AMD R9 290X. This is important for later. Even though this kid didn't know much about computers, I still said that I can give him a decent computer with such specs for around like 450 euros. He said it was good, and I went on building this little beast. Since I knew that I was getting more money than I usually get for computers, I put some extra love into this one. I made custom sleeves for power cables. I routed the cables for amazing airflow. I even put in some extra 120 meters quad fans in the front just so it would be nice and cool. Computer was done. I did a 48-hour stress test on the components like I always do. This kid was supposed to pick up the computers after a few days, but he said he couldn't. Luckily, I was going to a friend that lives around like 200 kilometers away from me, and from his place, it was somewhat 40-minute drive to get to this kid. I drive from my friend's place with the computer and deliver it. And I get my 450 euros plus 20 euros that he said he would give me for delivering the computer. Since he didn't have a monitor yet, we couldn't really test the computer, but I connected the power to it just to see it doesn't beep or do anything weird from the drive there. I also say that I can give him like a month of warranty and support if stuff isn't working like they should. Around a week later, the kid contacts me and says that the computer doesn't work. I didn't really feel like driving almost 3 hours one way just to get it to work, so I asked him if he connected everything like he should. And he said yes, and we messaged each other for over 2 hours while I'm trying to figure it out why it's not even getting the power. I asked him if we could start a video call so he can show me what he does to start a computer. This ducking kid is plugging in the power cable. He's then just flicking the power switch on the power supply, and he says, "See, it doesn't work." At 30 minutes to this, while I'm trying to explain to him that the power button is on the side at the front of the case, and he's just like, "Nope, there's nothing there." He eventually finds the button and apologized for being stupid, and we hung up. Fast forward a few weeks, and then he tells me that one of the radiator fans is making weird noises. I don't want to go there again, and sends him a brand new fan for the red, and I even pay for the shipping. He gets the fan, is happy, all done now, right? Oh no! Fast forward 5 months, he messages me, telling me that this GPU is from 2013. I didn't expect an old GPU, and the computer is really slow. Yes, the GPU is from 2013, but in 2017, it was still capable to play games. It still is today. It performs somewhat like GTX 1060 in 1080p gaming. And since he was playing some crappy Call of Duty clone that got over 300 FPS with that card, I wasn't really worried. But as for why he experienced that the computer is slow, I have no idea, since both the hard drive, HDD, and the SSD was brand spanking new. He goes on messaging me saying stuff like, "I'm going to buy a new GPU and you're going to help me install it, otherwise you have to come here and pick up the computer again and give me my money back." I suffer from anxiety and had a bad week, and the fact that he thinks I'm some kind of 24/7 lifetime support just because I gave him a month of support made me really anxious and angry. I was sitting there for around like 2 hours thinking on what to say to not sound like a jerk. I also wanted to help him if he wanted to upgrade his GPU even after he was demanding this. Then I get a message. "Since you're not replying, I'm going to your house this weekend. You're giving me back my money, and I'll give you the computer." This actually made me feel threatened. I spoke to some of my friends on what to do, and they said that if he comes, they'll back me up. A friend of mine apparently had common friends with his kid, and had apparently had a talk with his friends about this. My friend is not someone that you would like to mess with if you wanted to be able to walk afterwards. After he spoke to his friend, this kid never visited me. To people that may think I'm a jerk, the price may have been a bit over the market value, but he could also have made some research of his own. Also, I'm not impossible to haggle with. I have put up computers that people have haggled down like 150 euros or more on. At this time, I had no job and me and my girlfriend was really struggling to get foods on the table. I was only buying stuff that I knew I could flip for a profit. Well, the only problem with this story was that OP was just being too nice and generous, and also OP should have noted clearly that all this support should last from A to B date, very specific, and after that, you should no longer servicing the computer for free. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.